All right, we should be good. Let me double check and make sure everybody's in here. Y'all know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the show. I'm excited to be with y'all today. We've got a lot to cover on the show. We're going to get into this crazy story with Aaron Spencer and what's going on with this man who has been indicted for and is being charged with second-degree murder. And now apparently it's looking like he's going to be sheriff. Yeah, insane. We're also going to talk about and give an update on what's going on with the war with Iran, or Iran, as I should say. We got some updates about what's happening in Fulton County with that crazy meeting that happened with the Board of Commissioners and many, many more. So we'll get into it here in a second. Thank you to everybody who's in the building. It's so good to see the amazing people who make this show the amazing place that it is, which is you. Of course, I have to give a shout out to my awesome, amazing, beautiful Amy E in here. Y'all see her in there being amazing. If you haven't yet, go subscribe to Amy's channel. Also follow her on X at @AmyLee on X. If y'all want the up-to-date latest news on everything that's going on in our world, make sure you tune in and check in with Amy. I appreciate you, Amy. Thank you for everything that you do. We got Taco Tuesday in here on a Thursday. We've got Virginia Wiley's in the building. Jay Buckmaster's back at it. The real CPE. I got to give him a round of applause as well. Shout out to my guy CPE. We're going to get into it. But y'all know, before we do, I do have to ask you one major favor. That's actually not a major favor. It's a small favor. And that's that you like the video on your way in. Likes are free. It helps the channel continue to grow. It lets the algorithm know, It lets the algorithm know you guys are enjoying the show. It shares the video, the channel, this live stream you're watching right now with more people. So thank you to the over 400 of you that have liked the video so far. Helps out the channel so much. And y'all know I ask and beg for it because it's easy to do. Also, if you're feeling super generous, you can share out the video as well. All you have to do is click the share button that'll allow you to share the video to any social media platform you're on. You can even share it via text message to your group chat or to someone individually. And then last but not least, I will be reading super chats during the show as well. And thank you to everybody who goes the extra mile and sends in a super chat. I appreciate y'all. And thank you for helping keep the lights on here during the show. I'm not going to take too much time. We're going to go ahead and get right into it. I think I said what's up to most of y'all that are in the building. I'll be saying what's up and good morning as we go throughout the show as well. This is going to be an interesting one. And it's funny. I was actually having several conversations about this yesterday when it comes to Aaron Spencer. And I'm going to give you guys an update on what this story is about, what's going on, who Aaron Spencer is, and what he's facing in this murder trial coming up very shortly. We're going to go ahead and get into it. Excuse me. Let me get one more sip of water because y'all know sometimes I swear I might be allergic to live streaming. I get up here and start sneezing, start coughing. I've been fine before the live stream. We get on the show and we start to fall apart, but it's all right. We'll get into it. So when it comes to Aaron Spencer, this entire situation is insane. Aaron Spencer is currently facing murder charges and is running for sheriff and may actually become the sheriff of his local town at the same time. Aaron Spencer has a daughter, and this daughter that he has allegedly was assaulted by this 67-year-old man. The 67-year-old man was locked up, put in jail. He was released on some type of bond. And then the 67-year-old man ends up with Aaron Spencer's daughter again. Now, I don't know all the facts of what's behind that because we haven't seen all the evidence yet. But to give you guys an overview, the 67-year-old man went to Aaron Spencer's house in the middle of the night. He went into 14-year-old's bedroom, and then the 14-year-old left. It somewhat sounds like willingly. Again, I won't get too much into the details. Left with the 67-year-old. Then Aaron Spencer found out, told the police. Aaron Spencer had a feeling that he knew where his daughter was. He went and he searched out and he sought out this 67-year-old man. He found the man, was driving down the road with his daughter in the car. Aaron Spencer runs this man off of the road. And then Aaron Spencer shoots the 67-year-old man 15 times. 16 shots were fired. 15 out of 16 of those were hit. Now, these shots were fired after there was a tussle back and forth between the two. And then obviously after 15 shots, I don't know any 16-year-olds or 67-year-olds that would survive that. So the man is dead. He's gone. Now, Aaron Spencer, fast forward, he is facing second-degree murder charges along with other charges as well. And he's been able to be released from prison. And now he's here actually running for sheriff. not only is he running for sheriff, but he actually won his primary by 50-something%, over 50%. And we're going to get into the story here. And then we'll actually do a little bit of a rewind and talk about how we got to this place in the first place. Wild story, insane. Let me know what you guys think about the case as well.
I did what any good father would do to save and protect their child.
That's Aaron Spencer. He just won the Republican primary in the sheriff's race for Lono County, Arkansas. He is also set to go on trial for second-degree murder. While he's pleaded not guilty, Spencer admits to killing 67-year-old Michael Fosler, his teenage daughter's alleged sexual abuser. We caught up with Spencer in Arkansas a few weeks ago, and while his lawyer doesn't want him commenting on his case, he did talk about why he wanted to be the top law enforcement officer.
I never thought that I'd run for office in any aspect. Honestly, I think I was like a lot of other people where we didn't fully pay attention to what was happening in our local communities. The ramification and impact that these types of elections have. It's not only just standing up for my neighbors, I'm standing up for my family as well.
His biggest opponent in the primary was the current sheriff, John Staley.
I'm John Staley, your Lono County Sheriff.
Who also oversaw Spencer's arrest in 2024. I went to Lono County and chatted with voters who had mixed feelings about Spencer's run for sheriff.
A lot of people are just saying, I would do what he did. I don't blame him. And although I can understand why people feel that way, you've got to separate your feelings when you're a law enforcement officer.
To think you can just take the law into your own hands like that and then still think you can run for sheriff, it's just weird.
We also found that some voters were survivors of sexual assault themselves, and that's what got them to the polls.
When I was 5 or 6 years old, it was the first time I was molested, and that's why I want Aaron Spencer to stop things like that from happening.
Tell me how that hits.
You know, that hits deep. What we've been seeing here a lot this year of a lot of victims coming forward is a good testament on how much change that they want, how much accountability they want.
Spencer's trial date hasn't been set, but could fall before the November election. If he is convicted, he won't be able to hold office. Are you prepared for all scenarios in your future?
I would be lying to say I wasn't stressed or anything like that, you know? And I think if you're going into office and you're not scared about it, or you're dealing with a trial and you're not a little scared about it, you know, I think that's definitely the wrong behavior and attitude and thought process to have.
So not only that, but I'll be interested to see how this goes with jury selection. Honestly, I don't know how they're still going to have this trial in the same place. We're going to get into what happened with the back and forth between Aaron Spencer and the judge, and them actually getting a judge removed in this case as well. Guys, I'm telling you, this story is crazy. The drama is insane. But when it comes to finding a jury, what do you guys think is going to be the solution there? Because again, this has been highly publicized. We're talking about it on the channel, and then this man is running for office, which I don't know. It's surprising to me that even though you're innocent until proven guilty, that you can still run for elected office while you're facing murder charges. That's something I haven't heard of or seen before. I want to know what you guys would decide if you were someone voting in that county, or even if you were on the jury, if you think this was a good look, a bad look, because now we're actually going to hear from local officials and prosecutors specifically saying, I don't understand why people are having an issue with this. You can't just run around shooting someone because you think they did something wrong. Check it out.
Good evening. We begin tonight in Lono County in a race that's drawing national attention. Aaron Spencer, who's currently facing a second-degree murder charge, has won the Republican nomination for Lono County Sheriff.
Spencer was arrested in 2024, accused of shooting and killing a man he had found alone with his then 14-year-old daughter. And now he is the nominee. It is an unusual, perhaps unprecedented situation. Channel 7's Andrew Mobley joins us now live in studio with more on what's next here. Andrew?
The question now is, will Spencer even be able to run in November's general election because of his pending court case?
Yeah.
I've never had a defendant be running for the sheriff or any office while, this is a court case is going on.
The trial was originally scheduled to start in January, but the Arkansas Supreme Court removed the presiding judge from the case at the request of Spencer's defense and appointed retired circuit judge Ralph Wilson.
We were set to do this before the primaries, which everybody would prefer. to go ahead and get it done.
Now, Spencer's trial might be set either April 27th through May 1st or June 22nd through the 26th. If Spencer is convicted, he won't be eligible to run for sheriff in November.
Assuming one of those 2 dates we tried,
no kidding,
couldn't go any further if he's convicted.
There's a great amount of public sympathy for Spencer and support. He got 54% of the Republican vote, about twice as much as his 2 competitors, including incumbent Lonoke County Sheriff John Staley. Though Spencer has become a folk hero to some, Graham expressed disappointment with Spencer allegedly taking the law into his own hands and killing Fossler, who was facing 40 charges at the time of his death before the law could take its course.
And we were in process of it, and I think we were going to convict him.
And Graham says not everything the public has heard about the case is true.
What's out there in the public is not what happened, and they don't know the facts of it, and that's what we'll lay out in our court case. Do we really want to live in a society where people just go and kill somebody? Like the Wild West that you had when that all went on. That's not how we operate these days. But in this office and all around Arkansas, the prosecutors, we just follow the law, no matter what public opinion is.
That's a fair point.
Spencer's trial dates will be determined at a pre-trial hearing March 18th. On your side, I'm Andrew Mobley.
Okay. And that's coming up next week. And guys, listen, I have to give the prosecutors credit on this, and I think they may actually have a good case. Because if you look at this objectively, and you look at it from a legal standpoint, in the case of Aaron Spencer, he went after this guy for a reason. And thank God for his daughter's sake that his instincts were right. But when it comes to the murder part of this, that is going to be really hard for, I think, Aaron Spencer's team to defend. Because you look at the circumstances surrounding it, the fact that Aaron went after them, he ran his car off the road, they allegedly got into a tussle, and then he shot him not once, not twice, not 10 times, but 15 times. That's going to be a tough one, in my opinion. And looking at this from the standpoint of a juror, just knowing those simple facts alone, it makes me say, hey, listen, I'm not going to say what I would do as a father. I don't think I would be this obvious about it, but I would want to do something. And I totally get that as a father of daughters. But taking your law into your own hands, does the law, or is it going to be justified? That's going to be the question here. Let's hear one more video here from the news right there in Arkansas about this election and what it can mean for Aaron Spencer moving forward.
The results are in. Political newcomer Aaron Spencer has defeated incumbent Sheriff John Staley and challenger David Bufford in the Republican primary for Lonoke County Sheriff. And now we look ahead to what could come next. Spencer made national headlines in October of 2024 when he was charged with murder after shooting the man accused of sexually abusing his daughter. And now that he's one step closer to potentially becoming sheriff, Carter Thweet looked into what could happen if he gets convicted.
That's right, Brooke. You've probably heard Aaron Spencer's story by now. Like you said, after the man accused of raping his daughter was released on bond, the man allegedly captured the girl again before Spencer chased him down and killed him. He's now running for sheriff, and last night's successful result brings a lot of uncertainty to Lonoke County.
I just want to thank everyone that came out and voted.
Brent Cannon won his primary for Lonoke County Justice of the Peace Tuesday night, but that's not the race making headlines.
It was way more activity than we've had in the past. I believe this is my 7th election cycle, and this was by far the toughest.
The reason for all that attention and activity is a sheriff's race that's making national news. It became even more complicated when the county clerk resigned just a week before the elections, forcing the quorum court to appoint Eddie Joe Williams just 4 days before the election.
We had help. State came in. They were so gracious to, if we had questions, they knew I was new on the job. So they came in and gave us a hand.
But now things could get even more interesting. Spencer won with over 50% of the vote. But if he ends up being convicted of second-degree murder, he can't serve as sheriff. If he wins in November, takes office, and then gets convicted, it's pretty simple.
If he is convicted and has to be removed from office after the general election, the quorum court would then appoint his replacement to fill the rest of that term.
And it's equally simple if he's not guilty. He can become sheriff like anyone else. The tricky part comes if Spencer is convicted between now and the November election as the Republican nominee. State guidelines say a party can replace their candidate if they withdraw or pass away, but don't mention anything about felony convictions.
And again, you think about the president of the United States, he was facing an indictment and was being charged. Now, it wasn't for murder, obviously, but I mean, this is something that we have seen happen before, but in this case, when it's a murder charge, it just feels a little bit different.
All uncharted water, especially for Lonoke County.
There's a lot of research that needs to be done to figure out the legalities and if the Republican Party would have a representative in the general election.
We asked the chair of the Lonoke County Republican Party to outline the process if there's a vacancy. She says that rules set up by the state say there would be a special convention of delegates who would select a new nominee. But the chairperson did go out of her way to point out that after last night's vote, Spencer is the nominee, and there are no plans within the party to change that.
All right, so I want to know what you guys think in the comments in the chat. We're going to get into the full story and do a rewind of talking about what actually happened in this case and get to the facts of Aaron Spencer. But when it comes to this entire pending trial, these pending charges, it's going to be interesting to see how it affects it. Would you vote for Aaron Spencer as your sheriff? Y'all let me know what you think in the comments in the chat. And thank you again. We got everybody up in here. How many of y'all are in here? Over 6,000 of you in the building. Thank you guys. Thank y'all for being here. I know this is a touchy subject. And again, hey, listen, Elijah said, I'm a father and I would throw it all away if that happened to my daughter or granddaughter. Listen, you got to be smart, guys. I know I should not say, I'm not going to say this on the live stream. Listen, I'm not going to say this on the live stream. Listen, I feel you. I'll just say that and leave it at that. You're not telling the whole truth. The man that repeatedly groomed, assaulted that child and the system because they always light-handed with PDFs and did nothing. Well, listen, that may be true, and we're going to get into the facts of the story here shortly. The question is, does that justify him pursuing this man and him being murdered? Now, do we think that's what should have happened? Is that a moral justice? Is that karma? Probably, most likely, a lot of us would agree that, hey, listen, I don't have a problem with this POS not breathing the same air as me. And I think that's fair. But we have to, when it comes to the legal system, when it comes to the law, we have to talk about the law. And that's what the jury is going to be faced with. It's going to be a tough decision because, as I mentioned before, when it comes to what the law says in this case, there's a lot about this story that, in my opinion, doesn't lean heavily towards Aaron Spencer's favor. But we'll have to wait and see what happens because we're going to get into the full story here. Again, if y'all haven't yet, please like the video on your way in. Likes are free, guys. All right, just like the video. It's okay. It's not going to hurt, I promise. And it really does help us out a lot. Let's keep it going and get into the full story of Aaron Spencer and what actually happened. If you haven't heard this full story of what's going on with Aaron Spencer, it's absolutely insane. As we just covered, Aaron Spencer he won his primary. He is the nominee to be and to possibly be the sheriff of the county and of the town that he is in. But in the midst of that, he is facing a second-degree murder charge for the murder of 67-year-old man that was allegedly assaulting his daughter. So now we're going to get into the full story. I'll give you guys the background. I'll break down exactly what happened. And then I want you to decide, if you were on the jury, what would your verdict be with all the evidence that we know and have now? Check this out.
An Arkansas father pleads not guilty today to second-degree murder charges. Aaron Spencer is charged in the deadly shooting of 67-year-old man he found in the car with his 14-year-old daughter. Rebecca Brown was in the courtroom today and has the latest developments on a case that got a lot of national attention.
Aaron Spencer is not a criminal.
Monday morning, Aaron Spencer uttered the words "not guilty" in front of a judge at the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office, where he is facing charges for second-degree murder. All this because of an incident on October 8th where police reports say Spencer's teenage daughter was missing and was discovered by Spencer in a car with 67-year-old Michael Fossler. According to the sheriff's office, this eventually led to an argument ending with Spencer shooting and killing Fossler.
He was absolutely fearful for her life. Not to mention that she had been repeatedly the subject of multiple assaults, violent assaults on a child. What are we doing here?
According to court documents, Fossler was charged in early September with 2 counts of sexual assault and 2 counts of sexual indecency with a child, along with several other charges. According to Spencer's defense attorney, Erin Casanilli, in her words, he did what any parent would have done.
We feel very confident that this community is going to come to Aaron's side because every one of them would have done the same thing for their child or their neighbor's child or a member of their family.
And again, listen. One, I'm just shocked that this case is still going in that city, in that county. I don't know how they're going to find, how they're going to have a fair trial in this. Also, the second thing is, just because anybody would do this if it were their child, I think that's a slippery slope, because we got to look at what the law says, and we got to talk about being a law-abiding citizen, especially as a gun owner. You have certain responsibilities. You have the responsibility to act a certain way. And we got to look at the facts of the case. Did Aaron Spencer follow the law? Did he break the law? Did he go through the correct steps as a law-abiding citizen to, 1, not overstep his boundaries, and 2, protect the life of himself, his daughter, and others? It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because again, I truly believe the prosecution has a good case when it comes to the legal standpoint. We'll get into that in a second.
According to prosecuting attorney Chuck Graham, who charged Spencer with second-degree murder, Spencer's fear is only part of the story.
They have a lot to say about the situation and me, but what's being put out there is not the whole story. And ethically, I can't go much further than that.
Outside of the sheriff's office stood family and friends of Aaron Spencer. This case catching the eyes of people beyond Lono County, as many Facebook comments feel as strongly as both sides defending in the state versus Aaron Spencer.
And we look forward to the public being involved in this process, certainly more so than they were today.
A trial date will be set time out in the future for a jury trial, and we'll go from there.
That was Rebecca Brown reporting. Now, the judge set a date today for Spencer's trial and scheduled jury selection to start next March 19th.
I mean, and again, to make the point for the prosecutor, can y'all imagine if, oh, for goodness sake, who knows? What if that wasn't Aaron's daughter in the car? And what if the old man was wrestling with him? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. And it was someone else, maybe. Or his granddaughter, or another kid, or that wasn't even the old man. Aaron Spencer's seeing red, his daughter's missing, he's just losing control. He pulls the guy out of the car, shoots him 15 times, and then he's like, oh, shoot. That's the wrong guy. This is why, unfortunately, vigilante justice doesn't work in some cases, and why we have the law in place, because it somewhat removes the emotion out of it. Now, again, I could totally see myself, many other people I know, people close to me doing this same exact thing, but you've got to understand that the law is the law, and just because something may seem like it's morally right, the law may disagree. So we're going to get into what happened with this entire trial, what went down between the judge and Aaron Spencer, because they actually got a judge removed in this case and a new judge appointed, and here are the reasons why. Check this out.
Tonight, we're learning previously unknown details of a murder case so sensational the judge and prosecutors worried about conducting a fair trial. But today, a majority of the Arkansas Supreme Court basically released those details themselves, saying Aaron Spencer and his lawyers have the right to speak publicly about how the man accused of sexually assaulting his teenage daughter ended up dead last year. Let's recap how we all got here. Lono County deputies arrested Spencer last October, with the sheriff's office saying then only that he killed 67-year-old Michael Fossler after a fight and after he had found him with his teenage daughter. Prosecutors charged Spencer with second-degree murder. Court documents reveal Fossler was facing numerous sexual charges involving Spencer's daughter and had posted bond. Spencer's family took to social media. They started calling him a hero. His lawyers saying he did the same thing that any father would have done.
We feel very
That's
confident
fair.
that this community is going to come to Aaron's side, because every one of them would have done the same thing for their child or their neighbor's child or a member of their family.
But that lawyer, Aaron Casanelli, made that statement in defiance of the judge in the case. Lono County Circuit Judge Barbara Elmore had put a gag order on the case and sealed almost every document. Spencer and his lawyers appealed that, and today, a strong ruling from the state's high court. The gag order violated Spencer's First Amendment rights, with 3 justices saying they thought the case should have been removed from Judge Elmore's court. That's not going to happen, but the ruling listed new details that we didn't know before. Spencer had discovered his daughter had snuck out. He jumped into his truck and found Fossler with his daughter inside that truck.
We're going to get into
the opinion from Justice Courtney Ray Hudson said Spencer forced Fossler off the highway that night. That's when they fought, and moments later, Spencer called 911 to say he shot Fossler.
Guys, and we're going to get into this in a second. Listen. You all know, if you've been watching this channel, how I feel about crimes against children. And the moral side of me wants to applaud and high five Aaron Spencer in this case. But it's not just about the morality of it. It's about the law. And a lot of these facts surrounding the case, which we're going to get into the documents here shortly, I think are going to be tough when it comes to Aaron Spencer's defense. Specifically, the first point and the first bullet point here that was mentioned by the news. Aaron Spencer had learned that his daughter snuck out. That's going to be a problem, even though she's a child. And even though he felt like she was in danger, this is going to be a key point in the prosecution's case. As much as I don't want to go into the relationship that his daughter allegedly had with the 67-year-old, that's going to be a problem for Aaron Spencer moving forward. So let's go ahead and move into the new judge being assigned, what happened there. And then I'll show you guys the document that explains in more detail what actually went down between Aaron Spencer and the 67-year-old POS.
Now a check of some of the other local late news headlines we're following tonight.
Yeah, a new judge has been assigned to the Aaron Spencer murder trial. Retired Circuit Judge Ralph Wilson will now preside over the case after the Arkansas Supreme Court removed Circuit Judge Barbara Elmore on Friday for refusing to recuse herself. Spencer, the Lono County Sheriff's candidate, has pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder in the shooting death of Michael Fossler, a man out on bond at the time for allegedly abusing Spencer's daughter in 2024. No new trial date has been set.
All right, so let's get into the actual court document here. And this was the petition basically to let Aaron Spencer talk about what's going on with the trial and to lift this gag order. And it gives some details into what happened and what he's being charged for in this case. Aaron Spencer has filed a petition of writ. I'm going to mess up the name, so I'll just say it writ C. All right. Requesting that the gag order entered in Lono County Circuit Court criminal case be vacated. He argues that entry of the gag order was a plain, manifest, clear, and gross abuse of discretion, and that there is no adequate remedy but for the writ. We agree and we grant the petition of the writ and vacate the circuit order's gag order. Here's the background. On November 27th of 2024, Spencer was charged by felony information with second-degree murder along with a firearm enhancement under Arkansas Code annotated section 1691-20 for the shooting death of 67-year-old Mike. I don't want to say his name. POS is what we're going to call him. The state alleged that on October 8th, 2024, Spencer knowingly caused the POS's death under circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to the value of human life. Are they going to be able to prove that, guys? We'll have to wait and see. A Class A felony under Arkansas annotated section 510-103. The circumstances of the shooting were as follows. In July of 2024, the POS had been charged with numerous offenses of a certain nature against Spencer's teenage daughter, and he was released on bond. So again, their relationship, their whatever they had going on with Spencer's daughter and the POS had been going on for an extended period of time. On the night of the shooting, Spencer awoke to his dogs barking and realized that his daughter was gone. Spencer found a hoodie on a stuffed animal placed under her bed. As a result, he left in his truck to search for her. Spencer located the POS's truck with his daughter inside of it. I don't want to say this. I would be interested to find what state they were in when he found his daughter. If it's that late of night and they found them in his truck on the side of the road. Yeah. We'll get into that at some point during the trial. Spencer located the POS's truck with his daughter inside of it, and he forced the POS's truck off the highway. That's going to be a problem. After an altercation, Aaron Spencer called 911 to report that he had shot the POS and I'm not going to say that on the live stream. The POS died at the scene. I don't think anybody's upset or sad about that. On December 4th of 2024, the state filed a motion for a gag order alleging that Spencer's arrest had garnered media coverage throughout the state and the nation. Attached to the motion with a press release from Spencer's attorneys, Aaron Caselli and Michael Kaiser, criticizing the decision to charge Spencer criminally as targeting a heroic father. Well, again, we have to see what the law says, guys. We can't just say, oh, okay, well, you know, this guy was a POS. Some of us feel like he deserved to die. So thank goodness he's not long. We're no longer sharing air with him. Aaron Spencer, good job. Way to go. Let's just disregard what the law says. Unfortunately, you can't do that. The state also pointed to a television interview in which the defense counsel allegedly stated that they felt confident that the community would side with Spencer because every one of them would have done the same thing for their child or their neighbor's child or member of their family. The state argued that a gag order was necessary to preserve the integrity of the jury pool and to ensure the right of a fair trial for both the state and the defendant. The state proposed 8 consent-based limitations on the speech of any party and an attorney or an agency connected with this case. Basically, they said, y'all can't talk about it, but the court decided that go ahead, you're fine, and we're going to get the judge off of this case as well. I want to know what you guys think about this in the comments in the chat. I think this is going to be a very complex case because the evidence is really going to have to show, and we're really going to have to heavily weigh on what the law says that Aaron Spencer is allowed to do. Now, I looked and researched the law at length about how it applies to this case. I'm not going to discuss that with you guys because I'm not an attorney and I don't feel comfortable discussing it. But what I will say is it seems like there may be a solid defense for Aaron Spencer if the defense can prove that Aaron was not targeting this man or didn't have any hostility towards this man already previously existed in any way, which is going to be tough. And also that he felt like his daughter's life was in imminent danger. Now, some of that is going to play into the fact that obviously this POS was being charged with other counts. They were connected to Aaron Spencer's daughter, and maybe Aaron Spencer thought or felt in some way that his daughter's life was in danger because of that. Also, she's a minor. This man allegedly went to the house, or the daughter went to his house, and he was taking an underage minor child away from her parents without the consent of her parents. So there's going to be a lot of factors there. I think you got also definitely look into and research the facts of this case and the law surrounding it, because that's going to play into a lot of what we're going to see at this trial. And you know, we'll be covering it here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments in the chat. This is a tough case. And especially again, with those points that I mentioned,
Spencer's daughter,
with the point about the daughter sneaking out, that's going to be a tough one. Especially if you look at it from a jury standpoint, how they're going to hear it, how they're going to look at this. It's tough. Yeah, and hopefully you guys saw that. I want to read some of these comments, but I know we have so much I got to get to. I'm going to read some of y'all's comments. We'll capture some of y'all comments and read them at the end. I live in Arkansas and remember hearing the cops tried to plant a pipe in the back of a police car, and they tried to say it was his. The girl could have sneaked out but he was out on bond. How are you going to say she was in danger? He could have wanted to unalive her to keep her from testifying. You don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But again, they would have to prove that. That's the point I'm making. Had he threatened her before, I don't know. It's tough. This is gonna be a tough one. A lot of y'all are saying, yeah, he's beating this. I would say I thought the creep was gonna unalive my child, so I did what I have to do. Well, again, you can't. Guys, listen. If you look at, I want you guys to really look at the law, because I know a lot of us are going based off of our feelings on this one, and trust me, I want to, because I have no grace when it comes to crimes against children. But if you think about the Ahmaud Arbery situation and how these people chased this man down, you know, after he allegedly was snooping around at somebody's house and was stealing stuff, and then they got in an altercation with him, and then they shot him and he died. I don't want there to be any room for those type of situations to happen. And I know it's not the same thing, but if we start to go down this path of where we're just saying, hey, if you have this feeling and you feel a certain way and you want to go after somebody and you want to hunt them down, and if you get into an altercation with them and you end up shooting them, not once, not twice, not 10 times, but 15 times, hey, it is what it is. You felt like the situation was dire and you did what you had to do. I don't want to live in that society. So we do need the law. The laws need to be in place, because yes, it works out favorably in this case because a clear and proven POS was taken off of this earth, but it could be someone innocent at some point. And I think that's why it's important for us to understand and look at this from a legal standpoint. Because you never know what the situation is going to be. Let's quickly talk about what's going on with Iran, because this is affecting a lot of us. Many families have been affected by this, not only in the States, but also in Iran as well. I'll start saying it the right way, because I've been saying Iran, sounding like a country American that I am. But either way, we're going to get into some updates when it comes to the war in Iran. I'm going to get it right one of these days. And actually, before we get into an update on what's going on with Iran, I want to talk about and do a rewind and hear from the President of the United States 46 years ago about the Iran situation. And guys, it's interesting to see and hear from other people of what they've been saying historically about the impact that Iran has on the world and the state of Iran right now. So let's do a little bit of rewind. And I'm glad Amy posted this on X. If you guys don't follow her, make sure you do, at @AmyLee on X. She says, just in 1980, 46 years ago, Donald Trump said it was shameful that the U.S. government wasn't using force against the Iranian terrorist regime. 46 years later, he bombed them. Listen to the President of the United States. Check this out. Oh, y'all might not be able to hear this. Hold on.
Absolutely and totally.
Here we go.
Do. And you can create the right attitudes. The Iranian situation is a case in point. That they hold our hostages is just absolutely and totally ridiculous. That this country sits back and allows a country such as Iran to hold our hostages, to my way of thinking, is a horror. And I don't think they'd do it with other countries. I honestly don't think they'd do it with other countries.
Obviously, you're advocating that we should have gone in there with troops, etc., and brought our boys out.
I absolutely feel that, yes. I don't think there's any question, and there's no question in my mind. I think right now would be an oil-rich nation, and I believe that we should have done it, and I'm very disappointed that we didn't do it, and I don't think anybody would have held us in abeyance. I don't think anybody would have been angry with us. And we had every right to do it at the time. I think we've lost the opportunity to.
Dang, the president been standing on business, allegedly. Let's actually hear from him again in a recent press conference he had, talking about the state of the war in Iran and what's going to happen in the future. And then we'll move forward to hear some updates from the Pentagon. Check this out.
I want to take you to the White House, where President Trump is making remarks about the ongoing operation against Iran.
And their leadership is just rapidly going. Everybody that seems to want to be a leader, they end up dead. And it's an amazing, amazing thing that's taking place before your eyes, because for 47 years we were pushed around, and we shouldn't have been. And I think I can say, and you see it as well as I do, you see the tremendous progress that's being made. Their missiles are being wiped out rapidly. Their launchers are being wiped out. They're attacking their neighbors. They're attacking their, in some cases, allies, or not so long ago allies. And, you know, it's really a nation that was out of control, and they would have used it on us if we let them, if we waited any longer. A big factor was Soleimani, the killing of Soleimani in my first term. And maybe the biggest factor was the rebuilding of the military in my first term. And then the B-2s hit the, and I use the word obliterate because it really was a complete obliteration of their nuclear potential. And that set them back very, very seriously. If we didn't hit within 2 weeks, they would have had a nuclear weapon. If we didn't do the B-2 attack a number of months ago, they would have a nuclear weapon. And when crazy people have nuclear weapons, bad things happen.
That's a fact.
So we're in very good shape now. I want to let you know that, and we will continue forward. But it's a great display of military strength, and I'm very proud to have, with some of the people in the room, both senators and congressmen, we rebuilt, and women, we rebuilt our military during the first term, and we're using it a little bit more than I thought we would have to. Venezuela worked out really great. We have a wonderful relationship with the president and the various representatives, and we're taking out hundreds of millions of barrels of oil, and that goes to our benefit and to Venezuela's benefit. They'll be doing better than they've ever done before, and we will get a big piece of that, and we'll also make life wonderful for the people of Venezuela who have been very, very badly hit. So that's a lot said in a short period of time, but you can witness it for yourself. And now we'll get on to something that I'm very proud of, because it was sort of my idea, like
very much so.
Build your own power plant. And everybody thought I was kidding. They said, really, you can do that? How would you do that? I said, we'll get you fast permits, and you'll build your own plants, but we're going to discuss it in great detail with the biggest people in the industry and some of our great leaders and senators. And congratulations on the Medal of Honor for your 100-year soldier. You know, 100 years old, 101 to be exact. And Daryl's been fighting that he get the Congressional Medal of Honor.
The president, they are talking about Operation Epic Fury and saying that what is happening before our eyes is truly amazing, that anyone who is in possible contention to leave Iran ends up dead. As, of course, we know, the operation is ongoing between Israeli and American forces. And in fact, the Department of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is saying that it is accelerating and the U.S. is only getting started. Now, this is an official event, a roundtable with tech companies to talk about how to avoid passing the cost of powering data centers onto consumers. Of course, the president talking about really the most prominent issue right now facing America and the world, and that is the war against Iran.
Now, one of the issues you heard the president address is concern that a lot of people were speculating on as whether the United States is going to be able to keep up this pace when it comes to defending against Iran and targeting and attacking Iran offensively. So there was the rumors that we were getting low on supplies, we're getting low on munitions, there's not going to be enough. And we're now going to get some updates, not only from the Pentagon, but we've heard from the Secretary of War as well that everything is good. And there may even potentially be somewhat of a retreat, somewhat of a submission by Iran in this case. Check this out from Fox News.
This is very important. This is very important, and we're doing very well on the war front, to put it mildly, I would say. Somebody said, on a scale of 10, where would you rate it? I said about a 15. And we're going to continue to do well. We have the greatest military in the world by far. And
that's true.
That was a tremendous threat to us for many years. 47 years they've been killing our people and killing people from all over the world. And I think we have great support.
And we are getting new details on the scope of Operation Epic Fury. This as CENTCOM says it is destroying Iranian missile launchers with lethal precision. Excuse me. Jennifer Griffin has the latest from Washington. She can save me from my lack of pronunciation. Jennifer, what's the update?
Good morning, Dana. A big part of Iran's playbook right now is putting out fake reports of their forces downing U.S. or Israeli warplanes. The goal of what is left of Iran's regime is to survive the U.S. strikes, so turning domestic opinion against the war is their best card. U.S. Central Command put out the following tweet this morning after the Iranians claimed to have shot down an American F-15 Strike Eagle. Quote, rumors circulating on social media of a U.S. F-15E crash in Iran early Wednesday are baseless and not true. The battle plan that you are seeing play out with U.S. forces systematically striking Iranian targets to take out the military headquarters, command and control, and Iranian Navy has been years, if not at least a decade in the making. This new video from U.S. Central Command posted overnight shows U.S. forces striking some of Iran's mobile missile launchers. Iran has built large underground sites to store and launch their ballistic missiles from. This is welcome news for the U.S. military, which has the ability now to drop large 2,000-pound bombs and even bunker busters to destroy these vast underground missile cities, if you will.
Amazing.
Iran has more than a dozen of these underground sites. In a historic first, the U.S. used in combat for the first time a long-range precision strike missile called PRISM, which was developed to replace tactical ballistic missiles. They fly at incredibly high speeds and can hit time-sensitive targets. They can fly hundreds of miles further than ATACMS, which had a 186-mile range. They destroy targets more than 310 miles away. One launch pad holds 2 PRISM rounds. Last night, the Pentagon released the name of a 5th American soldier killed in Kuwait. Major Jeffrey O'Brien, a resident of Waukee, Iowa, commissioned in the Army Reserve as a Signal Corps officer in 2012. He deployed to Kuwait in 2019.
Rest
the Pentagon
in peace,
said
Jeffrey.
Chief Warrant Officer 3 Robert M. Marzan is believed to have been killed as well in the March 1 drone attack at Port Shuaibah, Kuwait. Identification of the body and notifications to the family are still underway. President Trump plans to attend the dignified transfer at Dover, we learned yesterday from the White House.
And I hate that we brush through these or rush through these sometimes. So guys, please send your thoughts and prayers out to our servicemen and women who paid the ultimate price, willingly paid the ultimate price. We've got Cody Cork. We've got Sergeant First Class Nicole Armour. We've got Sergeant First Class Noah T, because I'm going to mess up his name. We've got Sergeant Declan Cody. And then we've got, most recently, unfortunately, Jeffrey O'Brien has been lost as well. Declan Cody, his family actually came out and gave a statement just talking about how much of a brother he was. He was so young. He was just about to turn 21 in May. Oh, man, even talking about it gets me emotional. He was about to turn 21 coming up this May, and they talked about how great a brother he was, how great a son he was, how he was the rock of their family, how he just really held their family together. And these family, they need our prayers and our thoughts. And as the family, and Declan's sister actually said in the statement that just because life goes on and we just mention them in the video and move on, these people's lives are truly affected. So y'all, please keep these families in your thoughts and prayers. Although they know when they sign up for the military, this is a possibility no one would want or have to see this. So let me know what you guys think in the comments in the chat about this. It looks like the US, we're on the right path. We're on the right path to finally figuring out the situation in Iran. Let me know if you guys think this was the right move, or maybe we should just pull back a little bit and see what happens. Let me know. Oh man, shout out to everybody in the building. I can't talk about military, just holds such a special place in my heart. Raised military. Y'all know my father, my mother, lifers in the military, my grandfather as well. You know, someone very, very close to me is going to be enlisting soon. And dang, whenever we talk about the military, it always gets to me. That's a special place in my heart for sure. So either way, y'all make sure you say a prayer for all the families that lost someone during this time, because I can't imagine what they're going through. And let's go ahead and get into our next topic here. We're going to be talking about, oh man, this former mayor. If you guys haven't heard about this story about Misty Clanton, this mayor, this is something that I feel we're seeing more often. Maybe it's just getting reported more often, but this situation is wild and crazy. And we had to talk about, I actually wasn't going to cover it. We had the story ready to go a couple days ago, but news just dropped about this mayor being found guilty. And I think you guys are going to be shocked at what happened here. It's time to talk about the former mayor, Misty Clanton, and what happened in this situation with Misty going to a party full of her son's high school friends, getting drunk and having intercourse, or they're saying assaulting another teenager, not only a teenager, but one of her son's best friends. Yes. And wait until you hear how this situation went down. It's absolutely shocking and surprising. And it's strange that we're hearing more of this type of thing being reported. I want to know what you guys think. Check out this story from Inside Edition. Wow.
She was her city's first female mayor. Now she's been found guilty of having sex with a minor. Her own children telling authorities they saw their mom being inappropriate with a 16-year-old at a pool party. Here's Ann Mercogliano.
Again, I always find it interesting, the difference between when it's a man and when it's a woman. Being inappropriate is putting it lightly. She had this teenage boy all up in that thing, if y'all know what I'm saying. So the fact that it's being said, being inappropriate, come on, guys.
She's the glamorous mayor just convicted of having sex with her son's 16-year-old best friend at an alcohol-fueled pool party. Mayor Misty Roberts was accused of plying teens with alcohol while wearing only a bikini. KPLC.
Yes, and guys, she allegedly brought them alcohol, by the way, in her bikini. She was ready to party.
TV reporter Devin Cruz covered every day of the sensational trial.
The mayor was seen in a bikini, giving alcohol to minors.
She was seen in a bikini, and several witnesses testified that Miss Roberts or Misty Roberts had gotten the alcohol for the kids and had stocked a fridge. They were by the pool and they began kissing.
Then they went inside the mayor's home. Her own 16-year-old son told investigators that he saw his mother having sex with his friend through the window and that kids at the party had video. Court testimony revealed the mayor's younger daughter was crying at the party and asking people to go and make the victim and the defendant stop. The next day, the victim's mom learned about the sexual encounter and feared a possible pregnancy, texting the mayor, "Out of respect for both our families, can you assure me that you can't be pregnant?" "Yes," responded the mayor, stating that she was on birth control.
Oh, and it gets worse, guys. It gets worse. Not only was she lying, but she wanted to make sure nothing happened because allegedly, oh boy, this is hard to talk about. The teenager involved in this could have possibly gotten her pregnant, because listen to this.
There was also testimony from a DoorDash delivery driver who said that he received an order from the mayor for the morning after abortion pill to be delivered to her doorstep after the party. Jurors began to deliberate last night, and it took them less than an hour to deliver the verdict. The unanimous verdict: guilty of carnal knowledge of a juvenile and indecent behavior with a juvenile.
She did become very emotional, and she began crying.
Before the mayor's arrest, she had promised to always lead the city of DeRidder with her heart.
I might not look like or feel like or speak like every other mayor in America, but I am a mayor that will always be who I am, and I will lead the city with my heart.
Just advice for future mayors: if you're going to be the first female mayor, and you're going to be the first female mayor of a city called DeRidder, probably shouldn't commit this type of crime. It's just not going to go down well in history. Can y'all imagine in 100 years when kids are reading about this, they're not even going to believe it's real. Thankfully, they'll have places like Inside Edition, places like this channel, they'll actually get to go see that, yes, it's a real thing. Yes, the first female mayor of DeRidder was accused of having intercourse with a teenager. Yikes.
But I am a mayor that will always be who I am, and I will leave the city with my heart.
The mayor resigned from office just days
Just your
before
heart?
her arrest.
Misty Roberts' lawyer says she's very disappointed with the verdict. Her sentencing is scheduled for April 17th.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how that goes down because, again, we've got more information, wild information about this case. The husband testified that Misty actually confessed to what she did, not just to the child's mother, not just to her teens, but also to her husband, or her ex-husband, I should say. In addition, she told her teens, which was mentioned before, that, hey, listen, if somebody asks you about this, you better lie until you die. Don't say anything. You got to protect me. This lady, man.
The trial of former DeRidder Mayor Misty Roberts continued today. Good evening, I'm Brennan Brown.
The city's pronounced D. Ryder.
KPLC's Devin Cruz joins us live from DeRidder with what happened in court today. Devin.
Yeah, Brendan, ultimately we heard from 3 total witnesses today. I'll go ahead and break down 2 for you because they've had so much content that they talked about. It's all I can really fit in right now. So we'll start off the top. Roberts' ex-husband, Duncan Clanton, took the stand this afternoon and testified that Roberts told him directly that she had sex with the minor and that their kids had caught them in the act. Clanton says he talked to their son, who confirmed it. Text messages shown to the jury revealed Duncan Clanton advised Roberts to deny everything on the day she had a city council meeting as acting mayor. He also texted her that he quote, played dumb and denied it after local city councilman and current mayoral candidate Danny Reynolds called him about the alleged incident. Roberts texted Clinton, quote, I need you to deny it, please. Earlier in the day, Roberts' lifelong best friend Jill Weaver took the stand. She admitted to discussing keeping the alleged incident from police and texting her son, quote, we lie till we die. Weaver also described the night of the party as, quote, a lot. It was chaos, and testified that at one point Roberts talked about wanting to harm herself. The defense today worked to challenge the credibility of 2 of the witnesses, pointing to Clinton's interest in an ongoing custody battle and the previous conflict of interest issues with Judge O'Neill, who was removed from the case by the Louisiana Supreme Court. They also highlighted conflicting statements among multiple witnesses who've now testified. And that was only just 2 of the 3 witnesses we heard from today. The other one is one of the friends who was at the party at the night of the alleged incident. Now, Judge Savoy says we will be taking Sunday off, but we'll be back here Monday morning. Again, if you want a full story, if you want the breakdown, if you want that 3rd witness, you're going to have to look for that on our website. It's not up there right now, but we will have it up shortly. But for now, reporting live in DeRidder, Devin Cruz, 7 News.
Yeah, shout out to the city of D. Ryder. Y'all got some work to do. So let's actually get into the details of what happened here, because again, this thing gets crazy. Disgraced mayor's son screamed at her after drunken romp with a teen at a pool party. You effed my best friend. The teenage son of disgraced mayor in Louisiana was overheard screaming that his mom effed his best friend after a drunken pool party where she allegedly had intercourse with a 16-year-old boy, according to reports. Jill Weaver, the best friend and former sister-in-law of ex-D. Ryder Mayor Misty Roberts, told jurors she overheard the tense exchange between Roberts and her son after she was asked to come to the boozy party around 8 p.m. Weird. July of 2024, according to the Lake Charles American Press. He was saying Roberts effed his best friend, Weaver recalled to the Paris County trial of the fight between the mom and her son, said the outlet. Roberts was the most drunk she'd ever seen her. I just can't imagine watching this situation play out. The former mayor's bestie left the party around 11 p.m. So what's up with this bestie? What's up with Mrs. Weaver? Was she there in a bikini too? She just didn't F one of the son's friends? What is happening? And what I'd be interested to see the text messages that Miss Weaver got. I mean, what did she say to her? Hey, come over here. There's a lot of 16-year-old boys. Ooh. The former mayor's bestie left the party around 11 p.m. 3 hours later, and was asked to return by her own son around 2 a.m. after Roberts accused him of taking a video of her allegedly having intercourse with a drunken teen at the party. Oh, great. You called your mom, Weaver recounted Roberts saying on her second arrival at the house. And then the teens showed their phones to the two adults to prove they didn't have the videos of the incident, Weaver testified. Weaver would eventually text her son to lie till you die about the chaotic night and admitted that she spoke to Roberts about how to keep the kids from reporting the alleged assault they witnessed to authorities. Come on, man. Roberts even became so emotional that she threatened to harm herself, Weaver testified while holding back tears, according to the Lake Charles American Press. The jury saw in an interview of the son telling investigators he saw his mom hooking up with his pal through a crack in the window. The small town mayor's daughter also testified she saw Roberts and the 16-year-old on top of each other. Roberts resigned as mayor of D. Ryder, a town of 9,800 people, days before her 2024 arrest. Well, at least she did something right. Roberts faced 2 charges of carnal knowledge of a juvenile and indecent behavior with the juvenile. According to reports, she pled not guilty and they found her you-know-what guilty. Yeah, I don't know how D. Ryder is going to recover from this. They need to go ahead and change the city's name and erase Misty from their history, because I don't know how they recover from this. And I think the jury made the right decision. Let me know what you guys think in the comments in the chat. I don't even know if I want to read some of these comments. We got D. Ryder up in here. Misty D. Ryder. I don't know what to say on that one. Let's talk about Fulton County. We're going to get back into Fulton County. We covered what was going on with the Board of Commissioners in their first meeting here in March, and things get heated. We're going to hear from one of my favorite people in Fulton County, Pat Labot. If you guys have been watching the channel for any amount of time, you know how I feel about the sheriff here in Fulton County, and we're going to talk about it in just a second. Let me see if I could find Uncle Rob up here. We're going to get Rob Pitts up here and hold him accountable for this chaos that's going down in Fulton County. But actually, I'm going to give Rob some of his flowers. We've been covering what's been going on with the Board of Commissioners meeting that just happened here a couple of days ago, and specifically when it comes to the voting issues with how the chairman of the Board of Commissioners, Rob Pitts, has been handling the media and been handling all the situations with the FBI raid into the 2020 election and the election offices here in Fulton County. But it seems like Rob Pitts, as I have given him praise for before, is doing something good and moving things forward when it comes to what's going on in Fulton County, specifically with the issues that we've reported on with Rice Street. You guys know the Department of Justice had to get involved with everything that's going on inside Rice Street because that place is a mess. Rice Street has several lawsuits that it's facing, and specifically Sheriff Pat Labot, because of the way Rice Street is ran, because of things that have happened inside Rice Street, because of what happened to Shannon Stillwell and Yak Gotti, as we covered here in the channel as well. So we're still waiting to hear an update from Sheriff Pat Labot on how he's going to move forward with making implements and changes into Rice Street. Now we're going to hear that Rob Pitts actually came up with his own ideas and a 5-point plan of how they can make changes and make the Rice Street jail better and actually cut down on some of the people that are being held in Rice Street. Problem with that is the sheriff didn't hear about it until that day. Fulton County, we got to do better, guys. You're going to see it here. Check this out.
Fulton County is implementing a new plan this morning aimed at reducing the population at the Fulton County Jail. But the decision did not come without some controversy after some commissioners said they didn't have enough information before the vote. Ariana Manish joining us now in studio. Ariana, tell us exactly what's included here in this proposal.
Why you should the plan pass in a split 4-3 vote by the Fulton County Board of Commissioners yesterday. Chairman Rob Pitts introduced a 5-point proposal in an effort to reduce the population at the Fulton County Jail. The proposal includes several measures designed to keep people accused of low-level offenses out of jail. Now, one part of the plan creates a last chance diversion hub, which would allow some people to avoid being booked into the jail system. Other initiatives include expanding the use of ankle monitors, sending text reminders for court dates, lowering some bond amounts, and reviewing inmates being held on other conditions. Now,
again, why didn't Sheriff Pat Labot come up with this? What is he actually doing? And what's the Department of Justice doing to push and enforce these deadlines, which are well past? And for goodness sake, can we please not charge Fulton County with this? If there's an issue, can it come out of his, I don't know, his check or something? Because this seems like a lot of easy fixes. Last chance diversion hub, increase in ankle monitor use, basically get people out of there that are only being held for maybe shoplifting. Lower the bonds. I mean, these all seem like simple, basic things you would implement if you want to keep people in jail as little time as possible, especially when they haven't been convicted. Dang.
This was a proposal at the commission meeting yesterday. These combined measures are projected to reduce the population by hundreds of people, with some programs alone expected to cut the population by 100 to 500 inmates. This plan comes as the jail is in a legal agreement with the Department of Justice to bring the jail into compliance with federal law. But some commissioners during that meeting say they were concerned that the plan was brought forward without enough data or consultation with the sheriff who runs the jail, while other commissioners in favor of this plan say they have to start somewhere to address the issue.
How in the world are we going to take any action when nobody got not one scintilla of information? The sheriff wasn't even contacted about this alleged plan.
And we're going to play it from the meeting. I found the spot in the meeting where Sheriff Labot comes up there. He says, hey, you know, this plan sounds cool, but I didn't even know it existed until today. Oh, Fulton County.
A plan
come on, bro.
That will help decrease the jail population. And is that what we want? Or we want to pontificate and say, well, I didn't see this and I didn't see that. You saw the DOJ report. You saw it. You talked about it.
Now, you just hear the passion from both sides about this issue. Now, in a statement, Sheriff Pat Labot, he said that he does support any efforts to reduce the population at the jail, calling it a priority since he took office in 2021. But he also said that 3 of the 5 proposals are already in place. And he also says that any future plans should involve more collaboration with the sheriff's office.
Oh, my gosh, man. He's like, hey, guys, good job doing what I couldn't do and coming up with ideas that I've had 5+ years to come up with. But next time, can you include me so I can maybe take credit for it? This is so frustrating and embarrassing. This guy's saying, oh yeah, I've been prioritizing fixing Rice Street since I've been in office in 2021. How can you say that? The Department of Justice had to get involved because of the conditions in Rice Street. So what changes are you making, Pat Labot? This guy, y'all get to hear it from him yourself. Check this out.
And maybe you could help me out, Sheriff, because I believe, and you may know about this, Judge McBurney, as well. Feel free to jump in. But I believe we have tried some things like this in the past at the intake or just inside the jail to do some last-minute diversion. Can you speak to that?
So first of all, good morning. Good morning. And let me lead with I was
somebody
not
else
contacted with respect to any plans, me nor anyone in the office. To your point, we would have had a discussion that says early, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, especially when we had additional funding through ORCA and otherwise, we actually had a solicitor at the back door. We actually had a public defender at the back door, had actually in the jail, and the program was working. And so we were diverting as many people as we absolutely could. And let it be known, I am pro-PAD. This needs to be done in a way that there are things, to the chairman's point, we are already doing, but you all deserve to know what that looks like. We already have a low bond program. As a matter of fact, both Commissioner Barrett and as late as yesterday, Commissioner Ivory came and got 3 people, bonded them out because their bond was $85. When the bonds reach below $100, we actually eliminate all sheriff fees involved in that. We then take an extra step to put additional funds on that individual's books. So for instance, we had a couple early this year, bonds with $10. So we put $15 on their books, and they can choose to either make bond or spend it on commissary, whatever that may look like. And to level set the conversation, just so I think it's valuable. We have currently 91 misdemeanors in jail. And we work closely with our Solicitor General, making sure that either those are domestic violence related and or mental health related, so that we can get some additional services there. To also level set, in our early release program, we've released 233 individuals. We have right now in our custody 83 people that have a bond of $1,000 or less. Since instituting, we have an inmate advocacy program that we started in 23, meaning that we have 2 individuals whose constant job it is to communicate with the court, review the records, to your point, Mr. Chairman, and in that space, they've reviewed over 50,000 records to determine how can we best help people out of this situation. And then as we go through court order production, what does that mean? That means a judge has ordered this person from the state. When we first took over as administration, we had hundreds of people in jail. We've worked with all of our chief judges. Those court order productions right now have to come to court. You only get 2 weeks. You need to be prepared for trial. We have 36 individuals in that capacity. To your point,
what are the numbers? I'm gonna do some research and look into this, because we know we're not gonna hear it from the sheriff. And if the numbers were good, he'd be telling us. So, but hey, we've broken down, and we've changed, and we've adapted to and updated the time of how long people are actually in Rice Street when they've been arrested or when they've been charged with certain level crimes. This is the percentage. This is what it was when I came into office 5 years ago, and this is what it is now. There's a reason we're not hearing that from the Sheriff Pat Labot. I'm gonna find out though.
Commissioner Thorne with Chatham County, they do accept misdemeanors, but to a more poignant point is that ultimately during COVID, we all stopped with judges' orders. We stopped taking certain charges in, et cetera. It is important to note that we have reached out to the county attorney's office. We're waiting on them to opine with respect to what can we not take. And so my proposal to add a 7th to yours, Mr. Chairman, would be to stop taking criminal trespassing charges. Right now, it's a misdemeanor. If you have your own facility, i.e. East Point, Alpharetta, since it's open, City of Atlanta, since taking on this program, we've had 604 people. I met with Chief Sherbaum earlier this week, 604 people that we could send directly to Atlanta. They could then, that is arrest since the beginning of the year. So there are opportunities as we continue to go through this process. We have to, much to your point, Commissioner Abdul-Rahman, set all of our personal feelings aside and figure out how we help people. It is also important to note, and Chief Sherbaum and I had a healthy discussion on this, and certainly Judge McBurney can expound upon it. If a victim wants a person charged, it doesn't matter what kind of diversion is going on, they can be given a citation in some instance to hope to stand trial in court or whatever that looks like. But if a victim of a crime does not want someone diverted, they have the right to have that person prosecuted. So I hope that answers your question. I have some more facts and figures. If anyone needs them, we certainly can get them to you. But we have done, right, yeoman's work. We have, look, I continue to say I'm proud of the women and men of the Sheriff's Office. Our goal is equally to not just treat people fairly, but get them back out, get them to services that we can possibly, move beyond where we are right now. And some of that comes up, if you recall, even when we had several contracts being held up by those providing services in the jail, which went beyond the walls of the jail, those were held up. And so now we are asking for the same thing. I think we're all on the same page of how we reduce the population. It's going to take person power to make it happen, and just a very thoughtful process from there. So I hope I answered your question.
What did he just say? Just a whole lot of nothing. Basically, hey, we did some other stuff, and there's some things that we did that don't really, relate to this, and we're trying, but here we are, COVID. We need more money.
Question.
Yeah, you did, and possibly some of the other ones too. Solicitor General standing right behind you, so if you wouldn't mind stepping up and joining the party, sir. You mentioned, Sheriff, and I was alluding to this as well, that there was a process at one point where you had folks, I believe from your office, correct, Mr. Solicitor?
We work very closely together.
Yeah.
For me, when the ORCA funding ran out, those folks that my team had targeting the jail around the clock were eliminated.
Yeah.
So we still got some pieces of that system that we created back in 2020, but much underperforming, to be quite honest. And I will tell you, That is because we've got 6 of the 10 lawyers that we need pursuant to ABA standards.
Yeah, and because of that, they got rid of some of that funding. But the DA's office took a hit to being able to bring in the attorneys and bring in some of the hires that they needed as well. That was done by the Board of Commissioners. Anyway, we won't get into the local politics and all that stuff. Y'all let me know what you think about these excuses from the sheriff. You think they're legitimate? Do you think they're making enough change? I didn't personally hear anything here that says we're working forward to solution. Shout out to the Board of Commissioners and Rob Pitts for putting together some simple things that seem to be making this situation in Rice Street, the dire situation in Rice Street, better. I want to know what y'all think in the comments in the chat. All right, guys, we did it. Oh my gosh. He is a GD lie. I know from personal experience that they won't charge perpetrators. It seems like a very simple and easy fix, and they're just not doing what it takes to get there. What are you gonna do? Thank y'all for the love. Thank you to everybody who supported, all of y'all who liked the video. Again, if you haven't liked the video yet, please make sure you do that on your way out. We will be back here tomorrow, as well as dropping content throughout the afternoon. So make sure you guys stay tuned in for that. Subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't yet, so you don't miss any time we go live or drop a new video. Shout out to my beautiful, awesome, amazing Amy E in there, reminding y'all to like the video on your way out. And as always, y'all know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We go. Peace.